Let's talk about evaluating statistical claims. Not all statistical claims are trustworthy. The SAT tests your ability to identify flaws in reasoning, biased sampling, misleading presentations, and inappropriate conclusions. You will need to think critically about the following things. First, pay attention to how the data was collected. We also want to know how the data is presented. What conclusions are being drawn? And finally, what information is missing? Now, all four of these are going to come in handy as we go through. Look at the SCAM framework for evaluation. We can go ahead and make very accurate conclusions by using the following framework. First thing is our S. S is going to stand for sample. We can ask ourselves, how was the sample selected and if it's representative? C is going to be causation. We're going to want to pay attention here to our correlation and our causation, because while correlation is important, it does not equal causation. A is going to be our axes and scales. It's important to pay attention to how our graphs are being presented. Are they manipulated to mislead? Are they showing us the right information? And M is going to be missing information. What is it that could maybe influence the statistical claim that we're not being told? Let's go ahead and take a look at an example here. If we say 9 out of 10 dentists recommend a toothpaste. Pretty normal claim here. Let's look at the most basic pieces. First, we could say how many dentists were surveyed. Look at S. Are we only looking at 10 dentists? That's not a very big number to recommend a toothpaste for. We could look at causation, take a look at the correlation between the factors that made them suggest this toothpaste. We don't know how these dentists were selected. We don't know what questions actually helped the dentists recommend the toothpaste. They could have been asked if they recommend brushing with toothpaste, or if they recommend brushing with their toothpaste. Moving into causation, causation doesn't really have a place for this one, but it's always something good to consider. A are axes of the presentation. 90% is great, but were there other choices? Were we only given 2 options? Were they given 10 options? How many options for toothpaste were they given? And did they recommend it as one of the good brands or the best brand? And then looking at missing information. Who actually conducted the study? Was it a toothpaste company? Was it an independent researcher? What were the dentists comparing it to? Was it other toothpaste? Was it not brushing their teeth at all? And were the dentists paid or given incentives? If we're looking at this on its own, you could say that the claim is a little bit suspicious, and we want to know more about the methodology before actually believing in it. There's going to be a few kinds of studies, 2 main ones that we're going to want to look at here. The first is what we call an observational study. Now, an observational study is going to be when our researchers observe and collect data without interfering. For example, we could be surveying students about study habits and grades. And through an observational study, we can conclude correlation or association between our variables, but we cannot conclude causation. Why not? Because there could be confounding variables. There could be more things on top. Maybe students who study also get more sleep, have less stress, or more parental support. Next, we have our controlled experiments. Now, in these controlled experiments, researchers manipulate one variable and control others. For example, we could randomly assign students to 2 groups. One uses a study app and one doesn't, but we keep everything else the same. Now we can look at causation, since the study app specifically causes the differences. And why does this work? It's because we remove the randomization and control all the other variables.